Welcome to a new episode of Brainstorming. This is a different format. As we told you guys, we're going to have like our main full hour discussion twice a month. And then every other week we're going to have a shorter discussion about academic papers because that's one of the goals of our podcast, of our channel, is basically to combine the expertise and all the discussions that are happening in academia with what's happening in the real world. And we're going to show this connection. And you guys didn't see it, but Enrique and I had like a long conversation before we started recording. And Enrique was telling me his pain points, his real life problems of trying to make these connections of his studies with what's happening in the real world, the real world of business strategy. But my friend Enrique, great to see you again. Even that we were talking for half an hour before we started recording, but it's always great to see you. It's always great to share your knowledge here with everyone in a different episode of brainstorming.
My pleasure to see you again, this beautiful face. There's no AI that can ever replace that. That is the one thing that will survive every kind of artificial intelligence in the world.
They cannot match the size of my head. That's what I always say. It would never fit on camera if they try to replace it. So let's start with the paper, and we're going to be really direct in this format. We are going to try to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes. Maybe it will be shorter, maybe it will be longer. We're not sure yet. We're still learning the format, and we want your feedback, guys. If this really brings you some value, because we think it will be interesting to have something shorter that you can. It will be just easier to absorb. So this paper that we're going to discuss in this episode is called Leveraging AI for ESG Advancement in Green Hotels, Exploring Sustainability, Innovation, and Challenges. It's from Lehigh University in University of Macedonia. And I'd like to give a quick summary. It's basically they are doing a exploratory research with green hotels in Greece that are using artificial intelligence to improve their ESG performance. I think that will be like a quick summary. They're doing a survey. They're doing like a long interview with hotel owners, and they're trying to map out how these hotels are using artificial intelligence in real life to improve their ESG performance. What did you think of the study, my friend?
Fascinating. Not just for the setting, that being hotels in Greece. I think a lot of them are in very touristy areas, which makes sense. That would be where they have the most demand for hotels, which in turn leads to being the ones that can benefit the most from any sort of artificial aid, and artificial intelligence being the best level of computing aid. And I it was great to, we can dive right into it, but it was great to see what are the ways that they can use it, from very kind of day-to-day things that we see already, like smart thermostats, that we probably don't think of AI being a factor in it. And I think that's a great kind of a simple way to show how AI has an use in everyday lives, not just in high-tech companies, not just in academic settings. They're super theoretical and not practical, right? Maybe not everyone has a smart thermostat, but everyone understands what a smart thermostat does by controlling the temperature and saving energy. And if you think about that in a hotel, saving energy in unoccupied rooms, saving energy and not having the AC on at like 68 degrees the whole time. And that's just one of them, right? And they talk about how they want to reduce emissions, monitor pollution, how they use AI to create an ESG monitor that allows managers to monitor multiple hotels. So it goes from the very basic one thermostat per room that operates individually, and there's probably no one actually checking whether it's doing what it's supposed to, but you just trust that it is. And you see a reduction in energy costs from someone managing a hotel chain and seeing how the different hotels are reaching their ESG levels, right? Or sorry, their emission levels or whatever levels they have, they're ESG related. So it was just like, it was a very short and direct to the point paper that had a lot of really big impact.
The one reason we selected this paper, and I have a really close friend who is a VP for a hotel chain. They have close to 100 hotels, and I love talking to him to learn about the hospitality industry because it is really labor intensive, low margins. Uh, uh, Customer experience is a huge thing. If you don't have a good time at a hotel, if you have issues, you will not be back at the hotel. So there are a lot of things that happen in hospitality, that happen in hotels, that you can actually translate to different industries. So that's why I am so interested in hospitality, because it really deals at its core with customer satisfaction. And ESG is something that is huge for this industry. It really is. It impacts them a lot, especially when you talk about medium-sized and large hotels. ESG is something that really is discussed by the board all the time. So that was something that attracted me to this paper, because it really shows the positive impacts, the benefits of AI in a setting like this. So when we talk about hotels, you talked about smart thermostats. We can talk about monitoring of pollution, of air pollution, of water pollution. We can talk about guest experiences, of it enhancing guest experience, of customizing tours. AI would be perfect for that. Customizing tours, customizing experience, customizing use of hotel facilities. So making sure at peak times you can use AI to try to direct your audience to a different place. We can talk about multilingual communication. That's something that AI does really well. We talked about it in the first episode. So AI really, really can make a positive impact when we talk about how hotels offer their services to their customers.
So now we talked a lot about how great the use of AI is for the hotel industry or the hospitality industry in general, but you have challenges. You always have challenges with AI. If you didn't, it would be everywhere already, right? And one of them is, I think the main one for a long time will probably be the privacy, data privacy. Once you have something and you put it out there on AI or in the internet, use AI for that, you run the risk of having a breach, being hacked, any sort of data breaches that could affect your system, could affect your customers' information, could lead to litigation, a lot of loss. Um, and it's actually, I was listening to a podcast from the Wall Street Journal. We're a podcast talking about another podcast. But
Inception.
the increase in kidnaps that look for crypto in payment, a ransom being in crypto. And not only that, but also kidnaps of crypto influencers or family members of crypto influencers, because they are very public and it's very easy to trace them. And one of the ways that that was done was through a lot of the data breaches that have occurred with cryptocurrency firms, agencies, whatever that's called. So not that AI is as, as but once you use that, you run that risk. Not only that, but you need a lot of infrastructure to use AI. You can't use AI to control the temperature of your AC if you don't install smart thermostats of high quality on every room. Now that definitely pays off. The ROI is really good in the long term, but it's not because it's a great ROI that you have the like working capital, right? You have that capital on hand to be able to invest in it. So you still have a kind of a threshold for the size of the hotels in the case we're talking about. Actually, the article does talk about that, right? They break it down from small hotels that are up to 100 beds to very large hotels that are 500 beds and above. And the ones with very small number of beds, they're looking at mostly like basic computer skills, just basic data management, not much analysis, not much technology being integrated. So it's multiple levels of AI investment and AI impact, or not impact, but implementation, than
Yeah,
the impact.
it really, as you said, it really will depend on the size of the hotel. The one thing where I was reading the article that caught my attention, and I have this sentence that I heard in a presentation, and I love that. The sentence is AI stands for data. So when we're talking about hotels, we really have a lot of diverse data points. Let's put it that way, because you have a diverse set of customers that are going to your hotel. So that could be great, but that could be a huge risk. So when you talked about data breaches, that makes a lot of sense, because you have so much personal information there, which you can use to customize experiences to really bring value to your customers and create recurrence of customers, because they feel like it's their second home. But you really got to be careful, both with the cost of data infrastructure, because that is something that really impacts adoption costs, of course, because it has to bring an ROI, but also the security, the part of data security. And when we talk about smaller hotels, they don't have that figured out yet, and it makes sense. And the other thing that I really think it's important to discuss when we talk about AI in hotels is that one of the biggest issues for any hotel, and if there is a hotel owner listening to us right now, they're probably nodding their head, is turnover rates. Like, it's so hard to hire people and maintain people. Of course, using AI, you can try to fight that a little bit, trying to automate some experience that you will not need people, but you got to be really careful with the lack of human interaction. So again, I will mention my friend Paulo. The one thing he said, in this year, 2025, he already went to France, to China, and to the US. And he's located in Brazil, to visit different hotels and to see what's happening around the world. And the one thing he always tells me is that, Eric, the check-in process is a process that we have to have as few people as possible, because you don't want to wait in line for 10 minutes just to do something that I need from you. I need to give you a key. I need to book you in. Like, no, that is, like, I have to think on you as a guest. So you want to come in, you want to have everything ready, you want to walk in the door, and you want to get into your room. But in other interactions, when we talk about concierge, when we talk about restaurants, that is something where the guest wants an experience. They want to feel welcome. So the human interaction is something that you always, as a hotel owner, as a hotel manager, you have to be careful about.
Yeah. And I guess on that end, you always need the concierge, not just because you need that human interaction, right? If you have any issue, but you need to have someone on hand if there's an issue with check-in, because you don't want to lose a customer because they couldn't check in an automated system. And also, you always have people who want, at least for the next couple decades, you have people who want that human interaction. They want to think they're talking to that agent who's personally checking them in and asking how their day was and talking about their, I don't know, vacation plans, whatever, which is a waste of time for the hotel, yes, but you need to count for that unless you're a hotel chain that has such a high demand that you can ignore those customers, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And when we talk about ESG, we have to talk about like finding that balance of, yes, uh, focusing on sustainability, focusing on the environment, trying to reduce your footprint. But at the same time, you have to be profitable, and I think a great and you have to provide a good service. And I think a great example is a hotel brand that a lot of people love. I haven't been at one yet, but called Citizen M, where everything is automated. It was just sold to Marriott, like Marriott Group, a month ago. Everybody who goes there loves the experience. You have an iPad in your room where you control everything. Check-in is fully automated.
It
Uh,
becomes part of the experience, right? Not
it
just a cost cutting measure, but I don't know, a
no,
fancy,
no,
yeah.
yes, and you use the right expression, because actually my understanding when I was reading about the purchase from by Marriott, even that they reduced the number of people, they haven't broken even yet, so they were still in the red. So Marriott bought the potential there. They bought the brand, they bought the customer loyalty. But if you
They
talk
believe it.
about smaller hotels, you have to make money, and they were not making money yet.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even the money that comes from the hotel or the revenue, the profit that comes from that hotel. It could be just the expertise of having all
Yes.
that AI and that automated implementation. So Merit can kind of cherry pick what works best and what they can implement on their other brands, right? Merit being, I don't know, hundreds of brands around the world, probably. Um, it's how all the big firms do. They buy small firms, not necessarily because they see profit there, but they see expertise that they can use on other things. Small firms might not have the capacity, but they have the flexibility to be innovators that most of the big firms don't. Some still do, like Amazon, Google might still try something here and there, but Marriott can't have a Marriott named hotel testing different AI and seeing that go wrong and like stamping that kind of that bad press on them, right?
Perfect, perfect. Man, what a great way to close this. What a great way to close this, Professor. That's why you make the big bucks.
One
Uh,
day, one day.
but that's the goal, guys. That's our goal, to get a paper, to try to give our thoughts on it. And we will always try to select papers where we see a practical application, something related to business, something related to a new technology, something that we think it's cool because it's our podcast too. We will choose what we want, but
Like it.
but give us your feedback. The idea, like every other week, is to have these quick episodes where we discuss a paper. We will put the link of the paper on the episode description if you want to read it, because we want to help to create this culture of people starting to look at academic research in a different way, in a more positive way. There's so many good things being published and so much knowledge there that we want to be this conveyor of this knowledge to a mass audience, to our community. And do not forget to check out our landing page, and we also put the link in the episode description, where you can have access to a free AI blueprint when you answer our assessment. So basically, the assessment is a thorough assessment where we help you analyze your AI adoption process, and we will help you make this easier. That's our goal. And we will select some people to come to talk with us and share their experience. So we also want to help you market your business as well. So do not forget to check it out. Take like 15 minutes to do it, but you will find hopefully great results from it.
Exactly. I have nothing else to add after beautiful closing. So yeah, we'll see you all next week.
See you all next week with the full episode. Then we will talk for an hour as usual. We will have all our water bottles ready to follow you during your walks, your workouts, whatever, when you're washing dishes. But it will be a full hour of conversation, and then every other week we'll be back with these quick discussions. See you guys. Have a great week. Talk to you later.